A very good evening, everyone. Today I'll analyze the poem All the World's a Stage by Sir William Shakespeare. This poem came up first as York's speech in the famous Shakespearean play As You Like It. In this poem, the poet divides the human life into seven different stages. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being seven ages. The poet considers the human life just like that of a stage. And as you must have seen on the stage, there is an entrance door and an exit door. And between this exit and entrance, there is a huge life, a big life, where a person has to play around seven different roles. The first role is that of an infant who is mewling and pucking in the nurse's arm. This is a dependent stage where a little infant has nothing else to do than to cry and vomit around in the nurse or the mother's arm. The second stage in which a person enters is that of the schoolboy who shows unwillingness to go to school. The third stage is that of a lover. This is the teenage where the energy is raw and the energy level comes out like a smoking furnace. Complementing to that, a person becomes quite romantic in this age. A person tends to write derived verses written in one's own words for the beloved. By the time a person achieves a direction to the energy, a person enters into the fourth stage, which the poet calls as the age when a person can be considered to as a soldier. At this stage, a person has got the do and die spirit for fighting for the country. Physically, the beard of the person just gives an appearance of a leopard's beard, and a person is quite ready to fight for the country's reputation and kiss martyrdom. The next stage is the middle age when a person is called a justice. When a person physically develops a round belly, a person is quite lethargic, the eyes are severe, and the beard is of formal cut. And a person is approached by others for some wise sayings or for suggestions and for issues to get sorted out. A person behaves in this age out of his worldly wise wisdom and the experiences he has gained out of living in the yesteryears. This is quite an interesting age since a person gains full maturity, and full consciousness, and a person behaves out of his wit and wisdom through and through. The next stage is that of a person in which a person attains the childishness, initial stage of the second childishness. This is the sixth stage of a person. The body posture or the body composure is quite lean and weak, and physically the person becomes quite funny and quite a butt of laughter for others to comment. The spectacles do not fit upon the nose and they tend to slip on the nose, and a person always carry a pouch on his side with all the essential things because physically a person is quite weak at this stage. His youthful hose well saved a world too wide for his shrunk shank. The wardrobe is full of good clothings which he had worn there in the yesteryears, but they don't fit him now. And the manly voice turning again towards childish treble. The coarse manly voice now transforms into childish treble, full of pipes and whistles. So it is quite embarrassing for a person to speak around also there in this age. Why? Because a person gets laughed upon there by others. Why? Because the energy level is high, but the physicality is not complementing well there with the energy. So instinctively a person is quite sound, but physically the person becomes very weak. Then the last stage of a person, it is the complete second childishness. At this stage, a person has lived a life full of events, a life full of achievements. This is the stage of introspection as well as retrospection in mere oblivion, that is, in mere solitude and loneliness. This is the age where the poet says is sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. Where a person feels that everything is absent. The teeth are missing, the vision is not there to support, the taste is not there, and everything seems to be absent. It is a stage where a person somehow is approaching towards the inevitable fact of the death, and that is the reality of life. So, at the end,